dream come true. You sit there like this. By the way, this picture right here you're seeing of Shaun, this is actually a loop. He's in the next, he's getting his car washed. He's not even here. If they charged Diddy with arson, take all the facts of the case, arson, he'd be found not guilty. Why? Because there's no fire. Not that he's a good guy, not that he's women. If they charge him with murder, he'd have to be found not guilty because there's no murder. It's not, do we like him? We'll make the facts fit the charge. What we say in this country is, so you think it's great that this dirtbag got off? Yeah, because there was no evidence of the crime. Yes. Oliver Wendell Holmes said, better that 1,000 people, guilty people, walk free than one innocent man be convicted. And that's supposedly the way it is. And I don't have to tell you about your country or others as well, but when the justice system goes, that's it. See, this is the final bulwark, the buffer between a kind of a rogue sovereign and the people. It's the only thing. It's where people get off the street and they say, oh, no. Oh, no. This is, we have the grand jury system, which is a joke, and a petty jury, which is what this is. And you've got people off the street who last week did nothing. They were just regular folks, or 2 weeks ago, or 9 weeks ago. And now they're basically, they stopped. They told the federal government, no, And I mean, bitch slapped them. Pardon my French. Not racketeering, nothing. And the piddliest case they threw on and go, we need one more. Mann Act. It's also called the white slavery statute. They got Jack Johnson, the black boxer, R. Kelly, Chuck Berry, all black, by the way. Famous cases of that. It's the most, this is a century old. Crossing state lines with prostitutes? What? Oh, this is incredible.
Right, folks. While Lionel gathers his breath, let me just give a quick summary and we will go over to your questions. Lots of questions have come in. So the summary is, as Lionel called it, prosecutorial overreach. They didn't get any of the main charges. Diddy beat those. We got 2 minor charges of the transportation of the people of the night across the state lines. Now the media's got this hyperbolic headline that if Diddy gets the super aggravated max and they run each charge after the other, that's a maximum of 20 years. If they run them together, it's a maximum of 10 years. And the most asked question right now is, what does Lionel think he's going to get? So
okay,
you've got to look what the presumptive is. What is the kind of average sentence for these? And then you got Diddy's back time taken off. I'm going to guess that Diddy's going to do a couple of years.
12 to 15 months, something like that, minus 10 months for credit for time served. When you are in jail and you're not allowed out and you're being held because they won't give you a bail, but you're there, you get a day-for-day credit. Now, in the federal system, we don't have parole. You have a presumptive sentence. You do basically 85% of whatever it is you get. But before, and they always say, every case, if something is, let's say, some statutes have a maximum of life, some have a maximum, sometimes of, like treason is punishable by death. It's not going to get the death penalty. I don't know about you, but if you have in the UK a speeding ticket, the maximum is a year in the jail. Well, nobody gets a year, but that's the maximum. In our country, misdemeanors, all misdemeanors are punishable by up to a year in the county jail. This is state level. Felonies are anything over a year. That's it. So if I decide in some states, for example, if you steal a fire extinguisher, it's a felony. If you steal 1,000 pieces of oranges, it's a felony. If you steal a cow, it's a felony because we say it is. Now, nobody has ever done a year for stealing, a fire extinguisher. But if you wanted to, theoretically, the maximum you could ever give somebody is 5 years. Though nobody has ever. So there always is a maximum to this. There is and people forget this. The only thing that makes something a crime, and again, I can only speak for here, is that it theoretically presents itself as a possibility of jail or incarceration as a penalty. If there's no chance of jail, it's not a crime. It's a civil infraction, an infraction. Speeding in our country is not a crime. You cannot possibly go to jail or prison. Remember, misdemeanor for jail, prison for felonies, at all. Aggravated or reckless driving, you can. DWI, drink driving, or whatever you call it. So these are just rudimentary things. So what the judge is going to do is he's going to look at this. Remember, federal judges don't care. Plus, the judge recognizes the fact that he looks like the biggest jerk, even though they're appointed for life. Federal judges never run for re-election. They are in for life, but they have a reputation. So here's this judge who's going to say, I've got this piece of crap case that obviously the jury said, and I'm going to pound him on Mann Act violations. No, I look like I'm part of the feds. He's going to say, no, if that's all you've got, I'm going to look at this as if it were all its own, because it is. It's all its own. It's all they have. He's going to look at the sentencing guidelines. You've seen it. It's a piece of paper, and they just fill in a blank. You start adding, you just check mark, and you turn it over. You got 100 to 135. You turn it over, 12 to 15 years, or 12 to 15 months, let's say. First time offender, never been arrested, never violated parole, no violence in this case. Remember, Mann Act. Forget before, there was no violence in this supposed transportation. There were no firearms involved. Maybe, because remember, whatever you think about in the background doesn't matter, because that wasn't the subject of the adjudication. You're gonna you can't read into it. You can't say, yeah, but I know other facts. No, it doesn't work like that. So the judge is going to say this and say, based upon this, he sends the information to the prison system, the probation offices, these folks who review it, and they interview people. They interview the prison. They look at what's the most feasible. He lives in New York or lives in California. What's near? They did it with Martha Stewart. They did it with Ghislaine. What's nearby? What would best suit him? Minimum security, medium security. What would be the most? And they do all these calculations, and they'll tell him, okay, 12 a year. All of this already considering 10 months a knockoff. He is going to be the rock star because he did his time. It's almost better. We love the fact. Suge Knight will never see the light of day, most probably. I don't know what the sentence is, but probably I think he's going to have a hard time. So this guy went, he kept his mouth shut. He's a convicted felon. I don't know what that does to his musical career. He never ratted anybody out. He's bigger, badder than ever. Can you imagine his story? Who gets the first interview? Who gets the first interview?
He's going to parlay this whole thing now to take his career to the next level. And my understanding is because the bigger charges he was found innocent of, they were the charges that could have enabled the government to liquidate his assets. So now he gets to keep all his assets as well?
Yes. And what he does is, let me tell you my story. I started off with this and this. At my height, and I'll tell you right now, I was worth whatever $1 million. They came after me. And remember, this is what I would tell to my audience. Who is his audience? You and me? No. I would say, this is what happens to a black man who acts uppity, who dares to become too successful. They came after me. They came after me because it killed them to see how successful I was. All of my money. I've got my family. I never asked the government for anything. Everything I did, I made. And they wanted to go after it and take it. I lost this contract. They wanted my work. And all these vultures, they wanted to buy my catalog or buy my whatever it is. And they, baby oil ad, indeed. That thing is let me tell you something. I know people, somehow he's going to do, he can't mock that, obviously. But anyway, let me finish. So he'll just say, this is my story. I'm now fighting for my life, for my children. I've got mortgage, this legal defense. What am I charged with? This has hit me with millions and millions of dollars. Great legal team. I don't begrudge them. What did I do? The government doesn't pay anything. They go back to work. They go back to work and I've got to go back to work. And now watch what happens. My community is going to either turn their back on me. Am I radioactive? Are they going to come to my defense? Did you see anybody come to a court that day to help me? Nope. They did the same thing to Alec Baldwin. Remember Alec Baldwin? Nothing. If Alec Baldwin was Martin Scorsese or Ron Howard or Clint Eastwood, they would have been outside. I was abandoned by everybody because they wanted to see me fail. Not only the government, but my competitors. Because the only way you're going to derail me, the only way is for you to grind me. And you didn't do it. You didn't get away with it. I beat you, and I'm bigger and badder. And you know who I have to ask for that? My fans, the people, the citizens. Let me tell you something. God bless the USA. He should just, and also embrace, do this one. I'm going to tell you something. You're going to go nuts. I'm going to say, and you know what? I understand what President Trump goes through now. I understand it. We may not see eye to eye politically, but I never understood what persecution meant. And if they can go after the president of the United States and get nothing, and me, who's next? Now, the only reason you know about me is because I'm famous. But when they go after you, you're not going to have the platform I have. What's wrong with this country? What's wrong? We say we're the best country in the world. Are we really? I mean, this is just, and watch what happens. Watch the Harvey Levins and watch all these people who basically wanted him. They wanted him crushed because they're vultures. They're sick, sadistic jackals that are they're like vultures. They look for carrion. They circle the injured and the wounded, and they have no interest whatsoever in justice. And they're lawyers supposedly. There's no, and then you have this stupid media coverage with all these two-bit, half-baked nincompoops who never tried a case in their life, who come out and basically say, I'm going to be a pro-law enforcement commentator or a pro-defense commentator. Kind of like the Geraldo Riveras of that. Diddy will be gliding on a prison. Is that I think you know what you're talking about that one.
The two most common questions you're getting asked now, Lionel, are, can he get out on bail bond right away? And how long will it take before he has his actual sentencing hearing?
Okay. Can he get out? Absolutely. I think it is probably, remember, the federal judge is going to say, oh, come on. All right, Mr. Combs, you can go, wear an ankle bracelet. Here, give me your passport. Remember they went after his plane. They said he was going to take off. He ain't going nowhere. Why would he leave? Shaun, he's a hero. Whatever, if he does an hour is icing on the cake. He's hardcore. He did hard time. Whatever. He's not going to leave. He's got his family here. He's about to be on the verge of a deal of his life. No. So the judge will say, maybe a week, maybe I'll make sure the Bureau of Prisons and the probation services will make sure they'll check out where you're going to say, yeah, you can go home. And they're going to have the overhead shot of the caravan like we did with a slow speed chase with OJ. He's going to be home. And then he's going to be with his family. And then you're going to sell pictures. Is it going to be Daily Mail? Who gets his homecoming when he walks into the door with his mama? How about that mother? Eh? Anyway, he goes home and they're all his favorite meals and they're toasting and they're hugging. Who gets those pictures? All those deals are being made now. This is the biggest thing. Let's face it. Remember, before Diddy, did you really care about him? No, he was almost like a counterfeit hip hop. He was like a mogul, but he wasn't in that Jay-Z category. He just wasn't, badass. He wasn't, Elon Musk. He was more like Warren Buffett. Big, but not. But so all of that's so the judge realizes he ain't going to make that money if he skips. I told the judge flat, he's out of his mind. So one thing this man is a businessman. And for him to skip, where's he going to go? Belize? I don't think so. He stays here. He is going to revel. And he's also going to have, I hope he does, a program where he has an outreach program, a foundation to help people who've been in prison start businesses. There was a place in Philadelphia. It's a pizza joint. Everybody's an ex-con. Things like that. He'll be a hero. It depends how legit does he want to go? Because remember, these people go in. Samuel Bankman-Fried, everybody else, they go in, they don't come out. It's like the Roach Motel. They don't come out. Nobody gets who was acquitted last time? Think of somebody. Who was acquitted? Anybody? Nobody. In federal court? Nobody. And let me tell you something. Within the annals of the prosecutors, you brought this case and you got an acquittal. You can't get a racketeering. Shaun, I could prosecute Ziggy on racketeering and get at least one predicate act of something. This is a humiliation. So answer is he will be out, ankle bracelet, whatever. He'll say, fine, whatever it is. He'll be making his money selling the pictures. Now, the appeal. Oh my God, the appeal could take forever. Like 2 years, 3 years, 5. They're going to appeal the Mann Act only. Remember, under the Fifth Amendment, the prosecution cannot appeal a conviction. You got one bite of the apple. We have this thing, is prohibition against double jeopardy. Can't be tried twice for the same offense, even though you can be tried in state court and then in federal court for virtually the identical. That's different, which is bull. But anyway, so he will appeal the Mann Act. Can you imagine if he gets that reversed on appeal? And then when you go and you make the application for bond, one of the considerations a judge has is how likely is your success on appeal? If the judge grants a bond, he's basically saying, I think he's going to be successful. One more thing. At the end of the state's case, at the end of the government's case, at the end of the trial, the defense makes a motion for a judgment of acquittal. You can renew, it's always denied. You can renew that later on. Theoretically, the court, the court on its own could vacate the judgment, grant a new trial, revert on its own, and say, I know they came back with that, but looking at this, they could do that, or let it go to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals for appellate. So there's all kinds of stuff that can still be done. Federal judges don't care about popular opinion. Not at all. Nothing. They don't care about it because remember, they're appointed for life. They have nothing to worry about. They do what they want. Plus, it's their mystique. They're brave and they're ruthless. So he's going to get out, guaranteed. This case is going bye-bye, either on appeal or something, because the case is ridiculous. I guess you could say, yeah, he traveled, whatever. But are they prostitutes? If they put Cassie on the stand and said, did you know you were a prostitute? Did you know Diddy brought you, I guess, from New York to New Jersey, or I guess crossing state lines, so you could be a prostitute? Do you know that? Did you? And I was not a prostitute. Well, you have to be, because he basically is your pimp. I don't think enough's been made of that, because she's like this very classy woman. She does her thing, she's trying to turn her life around, and she's now, he's adjudicated a pimp, and she's adjudicated, and Jane Doe. God, now you know why she's Jane Doe. Who needs this crap? So it's.
Could they still charge him with something else, for example, the defaced guns, or would that be double jeopardy now because it's predicate act within what he was already charged?
I think the argument, if it's a completely different charge and a completely different set of circumstances and a completely different, theoretically, but even they say that's enough to go from racketeering and then say, oh, by the way, we're going to pick you up, or to have maybe a state charge. Let's say the state of California, presuming the statute of limitations hasn't run. I mean, listen, no prosecutor wants to get near this thing and say, this is a dog. It is radioactive. You saw what happened when the federal government, I was recently thinking today, I was listening to a Joe Rogan, and he had on Joe Pistone and the commission case and this case and that case and all these hundreds of people he testified, and all these people went down, and Fat Tony and Tony Ducks and all these people in Persico, and all guilty. And there's Diddy, walks away. It's unscathed. It's just, wow. Nobody ever, you don't walk away from racketeering, but he did. I mean, it is that serious. Now, the way I'm telling you this right now, they would hate this on TV because it sounds like I'm behind him, or I'm because I must act law and orderish. And if ever you want to see like really bad, I don't know if you ever watch this, but watch like CNN, bunch of constipated ne'er-do-wells sitting around, really not even discussing what this really means. It's like they play this. Let's wear a tie. Let's repeat this nonsense as though we're shocked. It's like, no, I've been saying from day one, these are the wrong charges. It's nothing brilliant on my part to say, why are you charging him with that? No, this is ridiculous. Sometimes, remember, you got to go for a lesser offense. That's strong. Filing you want somebody who says, okay, I did it. Did you file the serial numbers? Yes. Presuming there's evidence of that. And this is, now imagine what happens to the Busbys and what happens to all these other people and what happens to all these civil cases. You want to go after him again? After this? Just the name? Shaun, did he go again? Again? Even though you'll say, excuse me, this has nothing to do with a civil action, a lawsuit. This has nothing to do with that. Just the name of it is like, oh, for the love of God, leave the man alone. When you get that kind of momentum, those cases will never be in court. Nobody's going to settle anything, because it's almost as though the court, as a matter of fact, almost a matter of res judicata, so that they almost officially denied there is nothing there. There is nothing there. He did nothing that you said he did. Racketeering, sexual exploitation, sexual trafficking, or trafficking, force, fraud, coercion, nothing. It's brutal. And I got to say this one more time. How many times did you say, well, they've got a verdict? And nobody asked him, but a verdict could be an acquittal. I can't believe how many people never came up one time. And I said, am I the only one here who's, where have you been? That's not good. It's like, Shaun, I've got the results and your tumor has changed. Thanks, doctor. Thank you. Wait a minute. What do you mean it's changed? Has it gotten smaller? Has it gotten more? Is it worse? I need more information than you have a verdict. I need more information than it's changed. You know what I mean? People they don't have the critical thinking skills to just go a step further and say, wait. What are we talking about? And I would have, and when he dropped to his knees. I mean, let me ask you this. I don't know if you want to do this, but don't you feel sorry for him? At this point, don't you see like, this is enough? I don't like the guy, but to put him through this, I do. I feel sorry for him. Now, if I feel sorry for him and I'm not there, imagine taking, 7 weeks of your life out to hear this crap, and you're looking at him and you're saying, and don't think that doesn't play a role in this. And don't think that, you know what Friday is? July 4th. We kick your ass. And our birthday, July 4th, the 4th of July. A lot of people are saying, it's a long weekend. I got some plans. Let's wrap this thing up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Don't think that. No, I'm serious. Don't think that didn't play a role in accelerating justice, And who of this group is going to write the book now, too? They're on the phone talking to because there's complete freedom to talk to Harvey Levin. By the way, there's no money anymore in this, but nobody's going to read a book because people don't read. But wouldn't you like to know what went on? What people thought? Like, when did it go south? What did the jurors think? How they hated each other? Who's this dude who doesn't speak English? That's what I want to know. How did he slip in? I want to know more, maybe from a lawyer's point of view, kind of what happened, who sat down, and who led the charge. When did you first vote? When did you first know this? Because remember, when you're a juror, you go into that jury room and you say, okay, there's no rules. What do? You want to take a vote? Okay. It's up to you. How many vote for guilty? Oh, none. Okay, well, that was easier. Let's go to the next. Because remember, nobody tells them what to do. And you can't impeach a verdict, meaning you can't go back and change a verdict, as long as there's no evidence of some kind of chicanery, drawing by lot, That's not good. Having a having a hat with the vote, can't do that, or a dartboard. Short of that, nobody knows what jurors do. I still don't know. What do they do? How do you start? Who picks? Did you argue? You've seen 12 Angry Men. I think a lot of times it's pretty much, and then you have these conflicts. And if you've ever been in any group, there's nothing like being in a jury, because all of a sudden this is your new family, and you have a pin and a juror. You get away. People look at you like, "Oh, there's the jury," and you're part of it, and you have a marshal that follows you around and kind of keeps an eye on you. Okay, and then you realize once you get in, the personalities. Maybe you've not liked somebody before. Maybe somebody's gotten your nerves. Who knows? There's always a problem. But that's the beauty of the human, the calculus of this. We don't know any. I'd love to know how that started. And what was the evidence that made you say, eh?
A few quick questions have come up that I think you can answer. That won't take long to answer. And they are, what's your estimate on how much Diddy spent on legal fees? What's the Fed spent on legal fees? And what happens to the freak-off tapes? Do they get handed back to Diddy now, or did they get destroyed? Or
Excellent question. Millions of dollars for him. Millions. I don't even know how much. 10, 5, 10, who knows? Federal teams, paralegals, research, motions. Oh my God. Federal government, we don't care about that because we're the taxpayer. They've got FBI. They've got legions of investigators. And now, so who knows? It's going to be millions for him. You talk about the tape, which is interesting. If this is something that is construed as, let's say, obscene, because, for example, let's say it was children, like CSAM, child sexual abuse material, it will never be turned back. Guns are never given back if they're deemed to be improper. Guns that are used, and normally you don't say, "Excuse me, Judge, can we get those tapes back?" Why? I don't know. I have a hobby, nostalgia. But I think unless there's been a formal adjudication that somehow they have violated something, were they made consensually? Do any of the participants have a cause of action against Diddy for intercepting private communications? That's the federal statute. Who knows? Barring that, yeah, that's yours. We took this from you. Those are your. Can I seize your orgy tapes? Imagine the forklift we would need to have that. But there is nothing wrong with having films of consensual adults doing consensual things. Nothing against it. That's why I said before, if from now on people signed an NDA and said, we are going to upload this to Pornhub or something, you're not being a part of an orgy. You're being part of a production. And in this production, we're going to be doing, think about that. You've waived any and all rights. You claim you're over the age of whatever, not that that matters, and it changes the complexion of everything. Don't think people aren't going to do that.
Viewers put a 1 in the chat. Do you think the best thing to come from the Diddy case was meeting Lionel and all of our collaborations with Lionel? And if you look back at some of the most iconic moments when we had Jaguar Wright, Courtney Burgess, Ariel.
Some of the moments, and I'm not going to mention this, but I thought
banned.
Oh yeah, well, I'm thinking, what is going on here? I mean, who? And I didn't even know. I felt I didn't know who some of these people were. There was one guy, remember, there was somebody who was missing. Remember, they go, where is he? Well, we've located him, and I don't know what happened, if they arrested him or whatever. And I'm thinking, I don't know about this Attwood show. What the hell are going on? Who are these people? Then there were people who were reliving one who was shot at a club and this and that and blah blah blah. And I had like sometimes when I would hook up with you, you wouldn't say, "Oh, by the way, we're going to be putting you on with 3 lunatics." All of a sudden, I see 3 people say, "Who's this?" And I would listen, and I think, "Oh my God!" At one time, I think I said, "Gotta go." I didn't know who these people were, and you, of course, you just love it because I still don't know what they were talking about. Think about Tony. Think about Busby. All those cases. Hundreds? Remember that? Hundreds? What about those cases? What are you gonna do with that? I mean, this was the wildest. And you also had some wonderful moments with some of your fellow compatriots and co-workers, which I still don't know what that was about. I don't understand that in the least. And I'm thinking, okay, fair enough. Remember the psychic and the spiritual, and this. I'm thinking, stop.
It has been entertaining to say the least, my friend. And viewers, please subscribe to his baby Ziggy again. Subscribe to Lionel at his channel. I've just put it in the live chat.
Now,
it's in the description box.
Ziggy,
even Ziggy's subscribing.
Now, Ziggy, now, son, now your dad is crazy. Your dad is crazy, but don't mean he's a bad man. He's a good man. And one day when you got your college paid for, it's because of these crazy people that did it. You see, Ziggy, your daddy's coming on 1 million views. I know that's my boy exactly. And believe me, your father may say, who are these people he's talking to half the time? But ultimately, you're going to hear it all this. Because I tell you what, half the time he don't know what the hell he's talking about.
We have to take him for dinner. Thank you, my friend.
He makes more sense than half of your guests.
We will see you next time, Lionel. Much love from England. Cheers. Take care. Thank you, viewers. Please support Lionel. Subscribe. His links are in the description. We will see you next time. Oh, we've got Epstein's niece, Anya Wick, tomorrow at what time was it, Ziggy? I think 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock.